Now at 9, a mass resignation at City Hall rocks a small four-state town. Plus,
a groundbreaking in Pittsburgh marks a multi-million-dollar expansion of Eagle Pictures, expected to bring in at least 50 new jobs. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
And young stars take center stage and run the show behind the scenes at a local theater camp.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
City government in the small town of McCune, Kansas is getting some new faces after a shakeup prompted by a wave of resignations. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. Tonight's meeting comes after a letter was posted on the door of the McCune City Hall. It says that due to the unexpected and simultaneous resignation of the mayor, council president, 2 council members, the city clerk, and both the public works superintendents, the governing body of City of McCune currently lacks a quorum. Well, tonight a special meeting was held at City Hall to address that leadership void. The 2 remaining council members appointed other council members from among people in attendance. Then the council chose a new mayor. That mayor, Nicholas Napier, tells us he does not intend to stay in the position long and hopes a replacement can be elected in November.
I prefer to be a city council member because you got to vote, and I have young children that I promised them that I wouldn't work. I don't have to. I'm a disabled vet, so I'm blessed for that reason that I don't have to work. I don't mind taking the position as well for the city and to help the community.
The council is now planning a special election for Friday of next week to fill the vacant employee positions. The Neosho School District receives $1 million grant to transform literacy education. It's called the Comprehensive Literacy State Development Grant, funded by the U.S. Department of Education. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, the district says this funding isn't just about teaching students to read, but also developing a deep understanding of what they're reading.
If kids don't learn how to read, they can't function in society.
Heather Sides is a kindergarten teacher for Neosho School District. She's been teaching for 18 years. She says things have changed over the years, but some things have stayed the same.
There's a lot that can be learned through hands-on, through paper pencil. We use whiteboards and markers more than we use iPads.
Sides says in order to achieve this, she's going to need a few things.
We always need text for the kids to read that is appropriate for them, that it's developmentally and grade level appropriate.
To support Sides and request to teach reading more efficiently, Autumn Mosby, the district literacy coach, says they will utilize a $1 million grant given by the U.S. Department of Education.
We're talking things like books, items for phonics instruction, developing our reading comprehension skills. So our grant will really help us gather the materials that will allow us to be successful in implementing those strategies.
Some of the funding will be used to educate teachers because Mosby says it's not just about reading text.
We want to make sure that we are spending time creating lessons that not only will allow our kids to become fluent readers, but also be able to comprehend at a deep level.
Really excited about the training that we get to do and days like today where we get to come and meet together with our peers and be really focused and intentional about what things we're going to teach.
And the end goal is to change lives one word at a time. Reporting in Neosho, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Nearly $5.9 million was allocated from the U.S. Department of Education to schools all across the state of Missouri. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
It definitely turned out to be another hot, humid day for us today. Most of us dry, but we have been watching at least a few scattered thunderstorms popping up over the past couple hours, mainly southeastern Kansas, trying to track a little farther deeper in southeastern Kansas. So we'll watch this as we go through the overnight hours. You can see some of these storms. We may get a few into Pittsburgh. Here's midnight, maybe Lamar, but mainly from that point, points north through the rest of the night. Another batch tries to work in by morning. Again, most of these stay in our northwestern counties or our northern counties. Everybody else will stay dry. And then once we get into the afternoon, a pop-up hit or miss storm once again across the region. Hot today, 96 was our high, average high is 91, record 105 set back in 2022. Of course, we're going to look toward the weekend here in just a bit.
Catching a few. Joplin-based Eagle pitcher today held a groundbreaking for its newest facility coming to Pittsburgh. The 20,000 square foot building is expected to offer an economic boom to the city, creating at least 50 new jobs. As KOAM Samantha Walker reports, the expansion is a continuation of a decades-long partnership between Eagle Pitcher and the city of Pittsburgh.
What's currently an open field near the Tyler Research Center in Pittsburgh will soon become the site of Eagle Pitcher's next facility. The Joplin-based company says they wanted to bring this expansion to Pittsburgh because they've had success here before.
We've had plants on the East Coast, West Coast, and it's hard to beat the Midwest workforce. And I think there's a loyalty to the mission that we support.
At this facility, production will largely serve the U.S. Department of Defense. Eagle Pitcher produces roughly 85% of all batteries used by the U.S. military and its allies, like those used in a B-2 bomber. And the demand for those products continues to rise, creating the need for additional worker shifts.
Today we typically operate a single shift, and some of the programs that we're talking about are discussing a 4x increase in the production rate for those. So we see a lot of growth with new programs and also with the existing programs that we have.
Pittsburgh City Manager Darren Hall describes their partnership with Eagle Pitcher as a win-win. The city is investing in the construction of the new facility, which will be repaid over the next 10 years with interest through a lease. Hall says the city sold $6.5 million worth of bonds to help pay for the project.
We'll also oversee the construction in line with Branco, their general. So pretty unique, but we think it's a great investment. We're able to do it because we have been in partnership with them for so long.
This facility, in its first year, is expected to make $10 million. Hall says this is a jumping-off point for development in the city.
This entire area behind me is going to be the site of the KBI facility, as well as the NEMA prove-out facility over here. So there'll be $80 million worth of buildings and equipment back here within a year. So we won't have to mow this anymore. We can actually use it as job creation. It's great.
Hall says it's representative of Pittsburgh's push to bring well-paying industry jobs to the area.
At our heart, we're a custom manufacturing community, so the people that live here tend to be skilled in that area. So we want to create jobs that will allow them to find work. So it's just kind of a match made in heaven.
That's ultimately been the goal, is to bring more things back to the local, Pittsburgh, Joplin area. And so as we see growth coming, we want to focus on the area and bring jobs back to this location.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Eagle Pitcher staff say they expect that facility to be fully operational around this time next year. Construction is estimated to take 8 months, and it'll take 2 to 3 months to move in equipment. It's a tropical paradise at the 132nd Allen County Fair, and the Baby Barnyard is one of the main attractions. First established in 1978 inside a barn built in the 1930s, the exhibit features moms and their babies, including goats, a kangaroo, mini zebras, and, as you see, more.
I raise kangaroos. Her name is Ellie Mae. She's 6.5 months old, and I bottle feed her 4 times a day, and she goes everywhere with me. People in town all know if I have a big bag with me, I've got a kangaroo.
The Allen County Fair wraps up this coming Sunday. Young performers are learning more than just acting at the Rising Stars Theater Camp in Pittsburgh. The month-long camp is in preparation for the Beetlejuice Junior production that'll open on August 1st. While one group is rehearsing on stage, another group is learning behind the scenes, doing tech work like lighting, sound, and more. The camp is an opportunity for students to meet and collaborate with students from other schools who have similar interests.
I think what I love about theater is that, no matter where you go and no matter what theater you're performing in, you always have a home and a place to express yourself and show exactly who you are and what you want to be. That's a lot of the reason why, because I always find a home somewhere in a theater that I'm at.
With shows August 1st and 2nd, tickets for Beetlejuice Jr. will be $12 at the door. We're going to have a lot more on this story for you coming up on KOAM News this coming Sunday. Coming up next, accusations of treason.
Well, the Director of National Intelligence suggests some Obama administration officials, perhaps even the former president himself, should be prosecuted. I'm Doug Luzader in Washington. We'll have more on that coming up.
But up first, why so many Americans aren't getting enough sleep, and the simple science-backed tricks that could help you finally get some rest.
Go to cbco.org, make your appointment to donate blood July 25th.
Looking to stretch your face?
It's a critical key to overall health, but about 1 in 3 U.S. adults report not getting enough rest or sleep every day. Sound familiar? Yeah, well, according to the CDC, in today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has some simple ways to get good Z's.
Just like eating, drinking, and breathing, sleep is a basic need and one many in the U.S. don't meet.
Most people have difficulty falling asleep at one point or another, or they wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep.
Sleep deficiency is linked to many chronic health problems like heart disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, obesity, and depression. If you're having problems getting those Z's, there are simple ways to set yourself up for success, says Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
The first one is something called cognitive shuffling, where you think of random, non-emotional words, and then you pick an item and spend a few seconds thinking of words that start with each letter in that item. So, for example, let's use shoe. The first letter is S, sock, soccer, spoon. Then H, horse, hare, hippo. You get the idea.
Gupta says this practice can help quiet your mind and block stressful thoughts that may be keeping you awake. Next tactic, he says to rely on good old-fashioned comfort.
Sleep with your socks on maybe. Use a weighted blanket. Even snuggle with the stuffed animal, no matter how old you are.
Finally, understand what makes you sleep and turn whatever that is into a habit that you follow every night before going to bed.
These tips and sticking to a nightly routine can provide signals to your body that it's time to wind down.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Don't go to sleep just yet, because Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, summer's heating up and so are prices on chocolate and beef. Find out what's driving the cost spike and how it could impact your grill this season.
Emancipation, August 1st through the 3rd at Ewart Park. Everywhere
for the arts.
Well, of course, it turned out to be hot and humid once again today, like we've seen all week long. And the heat and the humidity, they're going to be sticking around as we go through really the next week. I do think we'll get a little relief down the road. Now, we've been dry this week. Of course, we had hit and miss storms all last week, but this week has been very dry. We do have some thunderstorms, southeastern parts of Kansas. Some of these have been a little bit stronger. The heaviest rain will stay in our far north and northwestern counties and then track up near Kansas City. But a few of these will try to swing in to southeastern Kansas as we go through the next few hours. So some of you will get a little bit of rain. You can see maybe getting down to Fredonia, Parsons, maybe Pittsburgh, over toward Lamar. And then points south of that, I really think everybody's going to stay dry. Another little batch kind of builds in. So here's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Again, nothing too strong. We may get 1 or 2 random strong storms, but of course, this isn't severe weather season. We don't have the upper level dynamics to get really big storms. By 7 a.m., sitting into the mid 70s, partly sunny skies. We heat up again, 94, 95, maybe 96, but you can see a couple random isolated little thunderstorms trying to get going late in the day. If anything can get going, it disappears once we go into the evening hours, and then we look pretty good. Again, some more thunderstorms tracking along that I-35 corridor. Let's look at your weekend. Here Saturday, partly sunny skies, hit and miss pop-up storms once again by the time we head into Saturday afternoon. All right, your Friday day planner, 90 by noon, high temp, right around 95 degrees. Let's go into the weekend. 94 Saturday, 93 on Sunday, hot and humid. Look at that heat index, again, 100 to about 105, and we could see an isolated thunderstorm, especially on Saturday. Look at the humidity. Look at our dew points. When they're in the mid, even upper 70s for this time of the year, it makes it feel soupy outside. I don't have another category here because it really doesn't get worse than soupy, so very thick outside. This is going to stick around on your Friday. Heat indices, lower triple digits once again as we go into Saturday as well. So we've been watching this dome of high pressure, and it's been keeping the storms just riding right on that northern edge. If this high pressure can break down a little bit, especially the second half of next week, we will get better chances for thunderstorms a little bit more widespread. We have the random ones Friday and Saturday, but the high just builds in. So we're looking at Monday, Tuesday. Finally, by Wednesday into Thursday, it breaks down just a little bit, upping our chances for a little bit of rain, especially as we go through the second half of next week. 95 on your Friday, 94 on Saturday, 93 Sunday, mid-90s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit cooler, near 90. The second half of next week, also some better chances for rain. Dow?
A little cooler sounds a little good. Later, teachers, unions, and Senator Sanders take a stand for more fair pay.
Friday, July 25th, sign up
for Children's Advocacy Center.
From backyards to beaches, campgrounds, and beyond, summer barbecues and campfires are going strong. But from mouth-watering burgers to the chocolate for s'mores and other desserts, the tasty treats to these gatherings are burning holes in a lot of people's pockets. Fox News' Chris DeMayo takes a closer look at what's behind the surge in prices of several summer goods.
If summer temperatures have you sweating, the cost of several summer staples may also have your wallet on fire.
There's certainly a headwind of price challenges.
From the chocolate that goes into s'mores to the beef landing on grills, prices are climbing.
We've been very attentive to what's going on in the market and trying to get ahead of it.
On the chocolate front, local and national companies are feeling the sting from higher cocoa prices.
The cocoa price more than doubled. We are facing something that's quite historic in a lot of ways. Jumping from a roughly $3,000 metric ton price point in a couple years ago to $9,000 today, roughly.
This as bad weather and diseases continue impacting cocoa regions across West Africa, which supplies more than 70% of the world's cocoa.
We've made some price increases, relatively manageable increases. It's part of kind of keeping up with costs. Otherwise, this business sustainability over the next number of years would be jeopardized.
Meanwhile, when it comes to beef, prices are hitting record highs. According to federal data, the average cost of a pound of ground beef in June was up nearly 12% from a year ago. The cost of all uncooked beef steaks was up by 8%. Industry experts say prices have been rising over the last 2 decades, citing a strong demand for cattle, but dwindling herd numbers because of droughts, diseases, and higher feed costs. In Philadelphia, the home of the cheesesteak, local hotspots are hoping prices fall after the grilling season winds down. But if costs don't drop,
we're going to have to increase our costs.
Chris DeMayo, Fox News.
Summer is still going strong, but many families are already back to school shopping. According to the National Retail Federation, 2/3 of parents with school-aged kids started shopping this month. It's the earliest on record. A big reason? Tariffs. With rates set to rise in August, many families are trying to buy supplies like clothing, backpacks, and electronics before the prices jump. Even so, overall spending is expected to dip, averaging about $858 per family, down 2% from last year. First-time claims for jobless benefits fell last week, dropping to their lowest level in 3 months. The Labor Department says 217,000 initial claims were filed for the week ending July 19th, marking the 6th straight week of declines. But getting a new job isn't necessarily easy. Continuing claims, which track people still receiving unemployment benefits, rose by 4,000 in the week ending July 12th. That suggests some Americans are struggling to re-enter the workforce even if new layoffs are down. Up next, global wrestling icon Hulk Hogan has passed away at the age of 71. We're going to look back at his life after the break.
For over 20 years, Abernathy Roofing and Construction.
Global wrestling icon Hulk Hogan has died at the age of 71. According to the WWE, Hogan-born Terry Bollea passed away this morning. The Georgia native became a household name in the 1980s, starring in multiple WrestleMania events and helping launch WWE to global fame. He also found success in TV and film, though his legacy was shaken by admitted steroid use and a racial slur scandal. He later won a lawsuit over a leaked sex tape, resulting in Gawker's bankruptcy. Hogan's cause of death has not been released. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, Senator Bernie Sanders joins teachers on Capitol Hill pushing for higher pay and making public education a national priority. And the Trump administration accuses former President Obama of treason and claims they have the documents to prove it.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Dow Quick. Dozens of teachers joined Senator Bernie Sanders in Washington to call for higher pay. Critics, though, say it's an example of Democrats prioritizing politics over education. Fox's Jared Halpern has more.
Senator Bernie Sanders rallying alongside teachers and education leaders on Capitol Hill, calling for higher pay and support for public educators.
For those who proclaim great love for this country, one might think that they would be doing everything that they can be doing to improve the lives of our kids.
According to the National Center for Education Statistics, nearly 20% of public elementary and secondary school teachers work an additional job during the school year. They say low wages and burnout are impacting teacher morale.
This is a national priority. Our students are a national priority.
American Federation of Teachers President Randy Weingarten has accused the Trump administration of hurting public education through funding cuts. Republicans say Thursday's rally shows the left is focusing more on liberal policies instead of improving test scores.
It's a Star Wars bar of leftists that are in charge of that party. And so I think they do not know how to get back to a place where they can appeal to mainstream America.
Last week, GOP lawmakers introduced legislation to revoke the federal charter of the National Education Association, but Democrats say it's another attempt to undercut teachers.
Going after the teachers' union is one of the biggest ways that you can really tear apart public schools.
Republican lawmakers attempted to repeal the union's charter during the last 2 Congresses, but both times the legislation never passed out of committee. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
President Trump has signed an executive order making it easier for local governments to remove homeless people from public spaces. The order directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to reverse rules that limit towns and cities from relocating the homeless and redirects federal aid toward rehabilitation and substance abuse facilities. It also calls for fast-tracking funds to communities that enforce laws on drug use, urban camping, and loitering, and for tracking sex offenders' locations. The move follows a Supreme Court decision backing an Oregon city's right to ticket homeless people for sleeping outside. The Trump administration is trying to build its case against former President Obama, accusing him of manufacturing intelligence about Russian election interference. As Doug Luzader reports from Washington, Democrats say the White House is trying to create a big distraction.
More documents released now by the Director of National Intelligence, who has accused the Obama administration of carrying out a treasonous conspiracy.
Tell me when you're ready.
As the cameras clicked away back in 2016, the first post-election meeting between outgoing President Obama and incoming President Trump was friendly enough.
We talked about foreign policy, we talked about domestic policy.
But behind the scenes, the Trump administration says something else was happening.
Good afternoon.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard yesterday released more documents she says build on her case that Obama and his top officials were changing the narrative about Russian election interference, eventually leading to allegations of Trump colluding with Russia.
The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment.
An Obama spokesman has called that claim ridiculous. But Gabbard says Obama ordered a new intelligence assessment on Russia, and she pointed to a House report that questioned whether the Kremlin was even pushing for Trump to win.
Trump is going back to his tried and true thing of bringing up Barack Obama, who's like 4 presidential elections ago.
The Democrats say this is a distraction at a time when Trump's base is questioning his handling of the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case, with a report out just yesterday that Trump had been told by his attorney general that his name appears in the Epstein files. That may not be a surprise given their past association, and there's no indication that the president has been accused of any wrongdoing. President Trump has pushed for the release of grand jury testimony in the Epstein case. A federal judge in Florida just yesterday denied one of those requests. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, a massive heat dome is blanketing much of the U.S., bringing dangerously high temperatures and raising fresh concerns about climate-driven extremes.
To be here for many of the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, home of Connect-A-Culture and Spivus Center for the Arts.
Well, of course, it turned out to be hot and humid once again today, like we've seen all week long. And the heat and the humidity, they're going to be sticking around as we go through really the next week. I do think we'll get a little relief down the road. Now, we've been dry this week. Of course, we had hit and miss storms all last week, but this week has been very dry. We do have some thunderstorms, southeastern parts of Kansas. Some of these have been a little bit stronger. The heaviest rain will stay in our far north and northwestern counties and then track up near Kansas City. But a few of these will try to swing in to southeastern Kansas as we go through the next few hours. So some of you will get a little bit of rain. You can see maybe getting down to Fredonia, Parsons, maybe Pittsburgh, over toward Lamar. And then points south of that, I really think everybody's going to stay dry. Another little batch kind of builds in. So here's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Again, nothing too strong. We may get 1 or 2 random strong storms, but of course, this isn't severe weather season. We don't have the upper level dynamics to get really big storms. By 7 a.m., sitting into the mid-70s, partly sunny skies. We heat up again, 94, 95, maybe 96, but you can see a couple random isolated little thunderstorms trying to get going late in the day. If anything can get going, it disappears once we go into the evening hours, and then we look pretty good. Again, some more thunderstorms tracking along that I-35 corridor. Let's look at your weekend. Here Saturday, partly sunny skies, hit and miss pop-up storms once again by the time we head into Saturday afternoon. All right, your Friday day planner, 90 by noon, high temp, right around 95 degrees. Let's go into the weekend. 94 Saturday, 93 on Sunday, hot and humid. Look at that heat index, again, 100 to about 105, and we could see an isolated thunderstorm, especially on Saturday. Look at the humidity. Look at our dew points. When they're in the mid, even upper 70s for this time of the year, it makes it feel soupy outside. I don't have another category here because it really doesn't get worse than soupy, so very thick outside. This is going to stick around on your Friday. Heat indices, lower triple digits once again as we go into Saturday as well. So we've been watching this dome of high pressure, and it's been keeping the storms just riding right on that northern edge. If this high pressure can break down a little bit, especially the second half of next week, we will get better chances for thunderstorms a little bit more widespread. We have the random ones Friday and Saturday, but the high just builds in. So we're looking at Monday, Tuesday. Finally, by Wednesday into Thursday, it breaks down just a little bit, upping our chances for a little bit of rain, especially as we go through the second half of next week. 95 on your Friday, 94 on Saturday, 93 Sunday, mid-90s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit cooler, near 90. The second half of next week, also some better chances for rain. Dow?
A little cooler, we'll take it. Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, the Cardinals prepare for their series with the San Diego Padres. Plus, the Joplin Outlaws named Mid-America League Pitcher of the Week. Ben McLeish has those stories and more for us up next in sports.
You're invited. Health, prizes, food, and fun. August 1st at Joplin High School.
All new Fridays on Fox.
The Joplin Outlaws are on a 5-game winning streak, including 3 in a row against Fort Smith. Today they look to complete the sweep against the Marshals. Yesterday, the Outlaws outscored Fort Smith 29-0 in their doubleheader, and they dominate again today, taking down the Marshals 10-0 in a 7-inning run rule victory. That's 6 in a row for Joplin as they continue their dominant season. Tomorrow they're back at Joe Becker Stadium for a date with the Sherman Shadowcats. And Joplin got some more good news this week. Outlaws and Missouri Southern pitcher Walker Sweet is named the Mid-America League Pitcher of the Week. In his last 2 appearances, Sweet pitched 9 innings, tallying 15 strikeouts, and only surrendering 1 run on 3 hits. Well, in the major leagues, the Cardinals return back home for a series with the San Diego Padres, looking to snap their 2-game losing skid. Since the All-Star break, the Redbirds have gone 1-5. They're coming off a series loss to the worst team in baseball, but tonight they pick up the win against one of the National League's top teams. The Cards tack on 9 runs with the help of a 3-hit day from All-Star Brendan Donovan as St. Louis beats San Diego 9-7. With tonight's win, the Cardinals now sit just 2.5 games out of the wild card. PGA golfers tee off for the opening round of the 3M Open today. Coming off of his Open Championship, the world's #1 golfer, Scottie Scheffler, is not participating, but we've still got plenty of great golf in Minnesota. On the 4th hole, Adam Svensson has a long putt for birdie. He grips his putter kind of like Happy Gilmore, but it clearly works for him. This one goes in. Then on hole 18, he has a chance for eagle from way out, and this putt is going to go in. He nails it as he finishes the day 11 under. But this might be the shot of the day. Jake Knapp on hole 15. His shot from the fairway is beautiful, and it goes straight in for an eagle. What a shot. Here's where we stand after round 1. Svensson sits alone at the top at 11 under thanks to that eagle on hole 18. But Sam Stevens and Thorbjorn Olesen aren't far behind at 9 under. They both search for their first win on tour. And after day 1, the top 10 finishers are all within 4 strokes of each other. It should be an exciting weekend in Minnesota.
So,
well, a great day on the greens, but how about the Joplin Outlaws? What an amazing season for them.
they're not only winning games, they are dominating games. They're shutting out the opponent for consecutive games, and they're scoring a lot of runs.
Yeah, it seems like over half of their games are run rule victories, 7-8 innings. It's great to see, and I'm hoping they can repeat as MAL champs.
Yeah, some people think that those runaway games are a little bit boring because they don't have a lot of suspense, but gosh, if you're on the winning end, you'll
it's pretty
take
nice.
it. For sure. We'll be right back. The dog days of summer are barking louder with an intense heat dome bearing down across large swaths of the country this week. Fox News' Ted Lindner takes a closer look at what's behind this weather phenomenon and why heat domes can really put a damper on this season's fun.
Summer is known for serving up scorchers, but another stubborn heat dome is on the menu for a bulk of the country as we approach the end of July. And it's ushering in temperatures that'll feel near and above the triple digits across portions of the Midwest, the South, and the Northeast.
A heat dome by itself is nothing other than simply a strong high-pressure system. It's stationary over one place for a long period of time, and high pressures typically lead to warmer atmospheric conditions.
While many people find them unbearable, Dr. Eric Nielsen of Texas A&M University says heat domes can happen any summer.
So this belt of high pressure systems is always there, but their strength varies based upon the seasons. And so during the summer, they tend to strengthen and dominate and lead to more impactful heat events.
Still, climate scientists from around the world warn increased greenhouse gas emissions are making heat domes more frequent and intense. And Dr. Nielsen says these regions are more prone to them.
The further south you go, the more common you're going to be dominated by this high pressure in the summer months.
Meanwhile, other factors besides pressure can influence the impacts of a heat dome.
We should be looking at this not so much from how strong the actual heat dome is, but in terms of the heat stress that we're seeing. And that has other factors with it, including how much moisture is at the surface, how strong the winds are, right? Because that affects how people kind of are impacted by the actual heat.
With the sizzle expected to settle, medical experts warn folks to be aware for signs of heat-related illnesses. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And to handle the heat, grab a lime and some salt because today is National Tequila Day. Tequila is made from the blue agave plant, which has a core called piña that looks like a pineapple. To be called tequila, it must be produced in the specific regions of Mexico, mainly the state of Jalisco. This spirit has been made for centuries and was once known as mezcal wine. You can enjoy tequila in margarita, tequila sunrise, or simply as a shot of your favorite brand. It's a celebration of tradition and taste that you might or might not want to miss. Up next, Netflix renews its hit Gothic series Wednesday. Jessica Chastain stars in a new thriller, and Keanu Reeves leads a comedy this fall. Netflix gives a fan favorite a renewal, and an Oscar-winning actor goes undercover. Here's Fox's Anna Eliopoulos with the latest in today's Hollywood Nation.
I'm an angel. See the wings?
Reeves takes on a heavenly role, Chastain infiltrates extremists, and Wednesday scores another season in the Hollywood Nation.
Can I get your autograph? I only signed my name in blood.
Netflix has signed on for another term at Nevermore Academy. The streamer renewed its hit Gothic series Wednesday for a third season, weeks ahead of season 2's premiere. According to The Hollywood Reporter, a spin-off series is also in the works. Jenna Ortega returns as the morbidly clever misfit at the center of it all, when part 1 of season 2 drops August 6th. Part 2 follows on September 3rd.
Hey, Jessica, Miss Chastain!
Jessica Chastain is bringing the thrills this fall. Apple TV Plus revealed a September 26th release date for its limited series, The Savant. The streamer also shared first-look images of the crime thriller inspired by a 2019 Cosmopolitan article. Executive producing and headlining the show, Chastain plays an undercover investigator who infiltrates online hate groups in an effort to stop domestic extremists before they act.
Wait, you're telling me I have a budget guardian angel?
Kinda.
Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, and Aziz Ansari team up for laughs in the new trailer for Good Fortune. The comedy also marks Ansari's directorial debut. He plays a down-on-his-luck gig worker whose life takes an unexpected turn when a clumsy angel, played by Reeves, offers him a chance to swap lives with a wealthy tech mogul, played by Rogen. The film also stars Keke Palmer and Sandra Oh. It arrives in theaters October 17th.
I tried to show him that wealth wouldn't solve all his problems.
And?
It seems to have solved most of his problems.
Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with a video of a grizzly bear beating the heat at the Milwaukee County Zoo. Let's make it a great tomorrow.